What's up guys, Joey here of YugaTech, and right now at the 10,000 peso price point, we have two phones that reign supreme. We have the Redmi Note 7 and the Realme 3. They provide excellent bang for your buck. Now the latter has a newly launched big brother, the Realme 3 Pro. So if the standard Realme 3 reigns supreme as a leader in the 10,000 peso price point, where does the Realme 3 Pro stand in the 12 to 15,000 peso price point? Let's find out. For design, at a glance, not much has changed. We still get a unibody design with a polycarbonate back panel that has this glossy gradient finish, and this lightning purple color we have here is reminiscent of the Oppo F11 Pro's Thunder Black color. But yeah, just like the vanilla Realme 3, we have a fingerprint scanner, dual rear cameras, and LED flash complete with that yellow ring on the top camera. Power button on the right, volume controls and SIM tray on the left, micro USB port, headphone jack, and loudspeaker at the bottom. We also get a dewdrop notch above the screen, but unfortunately no notification LED. But yeah, the only major difference here in terms of build is a slightly bigger 6.3-inch screen for the Realme 3 Pro, whereas the Realme 3 had a 6.22-inch one. Screen to body ratio is pretty good as we get nice thin bezels on the sides and top, with a slightly thicker chin. Display quality is really good. We get an IPS LCD panel with a resolution of 2340 by 1080. Text and images are crispy, contrast and colors look pretty nice, viewing angles are good as well, and brightness is adequate even for direct sunlight. It's also great that we get Gorilla Glass 5 for some extra protection. So while display quality is good, audio quality, not so much. While the downfiring speaker can get fairly loud, lows are not present at all, and we get an overall tinny quality. Honestly, just like micro USB ports, I'm getting sick of downfiring speakers. I hope front-facing speakers become a mainstay feature in mid-range phones really soon. But what makes the Realme 3 Pro really exciting is its internal hardware. We get a Snapdragon 710 chipset with an Adreno 616 GPU, 4 or 6 GB of RAM, and 64 or 128 GB of internal storage. Our review unit has 6 GB of RAM and 128 GB of storage, and boy can I tell you, performance is super smooth for anything you throw at it. The face unlock and fingerprint scanner are fast, the 6 GB of RAM can handle any multitasking, and heavy graphics games are no issue. You get great frame rates. If you want a more in-depth look into this phone's gaming capabilities, be sure to watch our episode of Can It Game right here. And in our benchmarks, we get some pretty good results for a phone at this price point. For software, we get ColorOS 6 on top of Android 9 Pie. I'll be honest, ColorOS has grown on me, and as the name suggests, it's a colorful and clean UI with a few extra features like the quick settings menu that you can access from the side, and Game Space, which frees up your RAM and blocks notifications while you're gaming. Anyway, going back to the Snapdragon 710, aside from giving you extra performance compared to the standard Realme 3, it also allows for 4K video recording and improved image post-processing, which brings us to the cameras. So we get a dual setup at the back, a 16-megapixel main sensor with dual pixel PDAF, and a 5-megapixel secondary depth sensor. Up front, it's a 25-megapixel selfie camera. Now with the standard Realme 3, we were already impressed with camera quality, but with the Realme 3 Pro, it stepped up by a notch. The improvement isn't drastic, but it's there. Again, the Snapdragon 710 allows for even better post-processing and even AI scene detection. And in daylight shots with even exposure, you can really see it. There's a pleasing degree of sharpness and colors look nice and natural. You can even get really close to your subject since there's a built-in automatic macro function, and portrait mode is great at separating the subject from the background. Low light though is where this phone really shines. Even without Nightscape turned on, we actually get some clean images. With Nightscape turned on, shots get brighter and slightly cleaner. It even allows the camera to see in the dark to a certain extent, as you can see here. The front camera as well can get you some pretty nice shots as long as you have adequate lighting. The AI beauty effect isn't so aggressive at default settings, but if you want to, you can customize the adjustments it makes. Portrait selfies also look pretty nice with effective subject background separation. We can shoot videos up to 4K at 30 FPS thanks to the better processor. Quality is decent, but at 4K there's no stabilization to be found. You need to bump down to 1080p for a shot that isn't shaky as all hell. Overall, the Realme 3 Pro's cameras do not disappoint. Just like last time around, we're impressed again with the low light performance. Not just thanks to the Nightscape mode, simply because the images are that clean and aren't that noisy. Aside from performance, the cameras are a big point to consider buying this phone. Now before we wrap up, let's talk about battery. We got a 4045 mAh battery, which is quite a bit smaller than the Realme 3's 4230 mAh. But there is a trade-off. The Realme 3 Pro gets VOOC 3.0 fast charging, which I must say is pretty fast. From 10% to 100%, it only took me a little over an hour. And mind mind you, this is while I was using the phone. But for battery life, it lasts a solid day on regular use, and in our video loop test, it lasted for 12 hours and 44 minutes, which is just average, especially for a 4000 mAh cell. But then again, you got book charging, which is a big deal. So to wrap up this review, I'll say that I've been impressed with what Realme has been able to do. They've been able to provide products that other brands would have priced more expensively at a lower price. From last year's Realme C1 to the Realme 3, and of course Realme 3 Pro, they're all great deals. And for this one specifically, you get amazing raw performance, solid design, a decent big display, a headphone jack, and cameras that don't just perform well in the daytime, low light performance is good too. You do get some caveats like poor speaker quality and the fact that it uses a micro USB port, but I think for a starting price of 12,990 pesos, this can be forgiven. So yeah, for 12,990 pesos, you get 4 gigs of RAM and 64 gigs of storage, and for 14,990 pesos, you get 6 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs of storage, like the unit we have here. And at this price point, the Realme 3 Pro is if not the, leading option. So what do you guys think about the Realme 3 Pro? Is it the best option at this price point right now? Let me know in the comments down below, and be sure to watch our episode of Kenneth Game if you want to know more about this phone's gaming capabilities. And if you enjoyed this video, please do drop a like, subscribe to our channel for more content, hit that bell icon so you don't miss any future uploads, and be sure to visit YugaTech.com for the latest tech news and reviews. This has been Joey. This has been our full review of the Realme 3 Pro, and I'll see you in the next one.